since I laid my eyes on you, my baby. I just wanna make your dreams come true, my lady. If you low, I'll lift you up. Just let me know.
Welcome back to a Goddess Life podcast with your hosts, Anna and myself, Erin. We are here post 8/8 Portal of Power with some interesting stuff. I got a portal hangover. That's what I want to say. We're kind of like in the space of integrating post change or mid change. Again, Anna, I don't know what else to call it other than portal hangover. I got a portal hangover. How about you?
Yes, me too.
If you shifted through a portal and you've shifted something in your mind, or you've shifted something in your energy field, or you've shifted a root foundation of who you are, like a portal is meant to take you from identity or experience A to identity or experience B. And it's a wild ride on a portal. If you're not prepared for it, you don't know where it's taking you. And I feel like sometimes we go through that process with curiosity and reverence and excitement. And other times it's like, holy shit, what the hell is going on? And we're clinging on for dear life. And it can hold a lot of friction and struggle. But Anna asked the question. It is August the 12th, the date that those portal energies are kind of closing.
Different teachers talk about portal energies coming in maybe a couple of weeks before and lasting maybe a week after, with like max energy on the Lions Gate.
So, and that makes sense to me, right? Because everything moves in cycles, just like the moon cycles. There's always this phase or this build up or lead up to it. And then there's the point of no return is what I'm going to call it. The point of no return where it's at its absolute peak. And then we kind of go on this after or post kind of an energy, post portal, I guess you could say. So yeah, different teachers and different people perceive it and pinpoint leading up to stage and the after stage as part of the actual portal experience. And it's the same with full moons too, right? Like I look at that as well. It is part of the experience. There's the build up, there is that point of no return, and then there's that post integration or that post, I want to say, adjustment to what's occurred. Here's what's interesting. As a teacher and a guide, I use moon cycles and moon phases as the build up, the point of no return, or the peak point, and then the post energy that you're also in as a cycle. But when it comes to portals, I actually don't use those. When I experience portals, it's not based on the lead up time to it or the peak moment of it or even the post after it, giving it a time frame. I find that portals for me personally are so far outside the time space continuum that for me to be able to say, oh, it begins here and here's the build up, here's the point of no return or the peak, and here's the after energy. Portals for me never fit the mold of that cycle. They're very personal for each portal because each portal deals with a different energy gate, a different foundation of who we are. So, like one portal, I might skip through it just on the date and ain't no thing, and it's easy breezy. But then I hit another portal, and that shit can take me down. And I don't mean take me down as in take me down, like knock me down a peg. I mean, like the shift is so deep, it is so profound that it touches every fiber of my consciousness, my emotions, and my physical body. And it's the same with moon phases as well, right? Because the moon hits us in different ways. It's part of our unconscious, the intuitive realm, what's hidden deep within. It's the same with moon cycles too, but the difference I think with moon cycles is they're tracked so anciently. It's just like a map, right? When we look at the moon phases. But portals are shifting us to a completely, entirely different frequency. And this one packed a lot. It packed a lot because Mars, which is our masculine energy, got an attunement, I want to say. It's like the ring of fire just occurred. The activity of Mars leading up to the portal was significant. During the portal, it was significant. And after the portal, it was significant. But your masculine energy is an entire half of who you are. It's an entire structure of who you are. So this particular portal, yeah, Mars was that active leading up to it. But I feel like this portal, this point of no return that we were at the 8-8, was actually a cusping point of an entire year leading us up to it. This was not just like, oh, it's your cyclical moon phases to get you from one month to another, one portal to another. I feel like this one here, the 8-8, the infinite one, the Lion's Gate, because it was a portal of power, we've been building up to this since the end of 2024. This particular portal of power, because it does have to do with Mars, masculine energy, which is an entire half of who we are. So the post portal hangover of this one, after shifting something in your structure, your support system, your method of the root foundation of who you are, is significant. It's going to affect us emotionally. It's going to affect our body, the way we think. And we have to have time to integrate after shifts and changes like that. I kind of feel like sometimes we have this idea that all this love and light business and idea or concept that everything's just magical after that. And that is true. It is magical after that. But you have to integrate the level of frequency of that magic to sustain it. And when we're shifting a masculine aspect of ourselves, which is half of who we are, we're both feminine and masculine, we hold both. To redefine one of them is significant. And make no mistake, prior to that, we've all been rising in our feminine energy. We've already for years been shifting the feminine energy foundation. The moment we shift the feminine energy foundation, the masculine must follow suit to align within us, and vice versa. Let's say you were working on your masculine for the last decade. Your feminine's now about to say, knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. We got some wisdom and some flow here now that the structure's a little bit bigger. So I feel like if that works for you and it makes it logically easier to compartmentalize a portal, saying it starts on this date and here's the pre-period, here's the point of no return, the peak, and it ends on August the 12th, and that works for you, or it gives you a sense of relief and brings you a sense of peace, I have serious energy saying, then utilize that. That is not incorrect. That is right for you. I'm actually, okay, they're saying I'm actually speaking to the other side of the equation here, or an experience that maybe some other people will have, where there's a blurred line as to when the energy starts, when the peak is, and when it ends. I utilize the peaks as points of no return or the top of the wave, but I don't like to, for portals specifically, give a label or a linear date, because sometimes I'm beyond it the day after the portal and I don't have a post hangover, or their hangover is minimal. Sometimes I'm working up to it for months, and other times I don't even need a workup for the portal. Portals are different for me than the cycles and the phases of the moon, and the lead up to and the peak point and the disintegration phase or the illumination phase afterward, where the tide is going out again. Portals are different because the portal is intended to literally move you from one state of being to another, whereas moon cycles and phases that we would normally attribute that, lead up to and phase of leading off, a moon cycle is different because it's just speaking to an undercurrent or a layer of your experience versus shifting an entirely identity of you. Like, as we're recording this, the moon has now just shifted into Aries for a time period. That's a new identity. This portal was intended to bring you into the embodiment and state of being of a new identity. I do feel like for some people to think that, oh my gosh, August 12th is coming and my post hangover is going to be over by then. Listen, you create your own reality. If that's the date you want to set, then you go right ahead and do that. If that brings you peace and it feels right, then go with it, because it is right. I'm more of a flowy kind of a person, and also just through guiding a lot of people through a lot of different types of transformations, I've noticed that there is no exact linear date time of reference that you can use, because everybody's experience is so personal. And yet in each person's experience, they will have specific demarcations of time that work for them. I'm not sure if that helps you, but that helps me, because I know sometimes the dates and times that are typically laid out as the cycles of the before and after of portals, sometimes they make sense and I easily fall into it. But then there are other times where I was like, that mine did not fall into whatever your that date time post pre was that was outlaid. It didn't align that way for me. So it's interesting. It's an interesting conversation. I want to look at both sides of it. It's 2:22 on my clock right now, Hannah. They're saying in the conscious idea that we create our own reality, you could potentially, with this new identity, now have embodied the fact that I can choose that I'm going to go through this process and I will have integrated it by this date, setting that tone or setting that reality by, let's say, August the 12th. Because you're in a new identity, it provides you or offers the opportunity to align with the post integration energy and allow your energy to integrate for that point of August 12th, thus putting you further into the identity that you truly create your reality. That affects me and that does not. I go through this for this period of time and it is nothing. You create that reality, but you're more in your power after this portal to be able to do that. Does that make sense? That's interesting. I didn't see us going down that route or where that was going to take us, Anna, but they're just making me feel like the disheveling of this portal collectively had deep and profound impact. The purpose was to dishevel anything that's not aligned with you having a deep knowing in your bones that you create your own reality, and the reality you create and the experiences that you have, they might be the same experience. Thus we all experience this portal, whether consciously or unconsciously. But some people are going to have a post hangover that is extreme. And some people are going to go skipping through it like, wow, that was amazing. I feel amazing. Like it ain't no thing. And both are correct for each individual. Yeah. What's your thoughts on that, Anna?
I really liked your perspective on it. For me, it makes a lot of sense. I've always felt almost difficult when someone pinpoints date. Like it starts this day and it ends this day. We all work with the 8-8 energies. So I felt the energies come in long before, felt so strongly after, mostly because I'm really deep in the hangover. But it makes sense. Of course, the energy should come in on this sort of soft wave building up until the point of no return. Because
Mm-hmm.
these energies, they were really strong. And I did a lot of meditations. All the different meditations sort of had in common was that it was an expansion of the heart,
Mm-hmm.
and in a different way than I've done before. Instead of just opening up your heart, to be able to let it stay open afterwards.
Ding, ding, ding. I'm hearing.
Yeah. And I tried my best. And in meditations, when the energy gets too strong, I fall asleep. And
Mm,
I had to do the meditation twice because I so wanted to visually see where we went.
got it.
And the first time, junk, I was out straight away. And the next time, I think I held about 10 minutes more and then chunk, I was out.
Mm-hmm.
So the energy was strong. Uh, but yeah, big shifts. I don't know what, but big shifts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I feel like you're speaking to something that's significant and that a lot of people experience. I get that question a lot when people are doing my meditations or my courses. And they say, I fell asleep during it. Should I redo it? And my perception on that whole falling asleep thing, or really what I was intuitively guided or how I perceive it and how I know the energy works, is anytime we have a huge influx of energy, whether it's light codes, whether it's a shift in energy, that's exhausting. It takes it. I'm hearing I got Sirius energy. This was a Sirius portal, like Sirius, Sirian, Sirius, the planet Sirius. And it was also play on words. They're chuckling. This was a Sirius portal with Sirius energy that there was an influx of. And that is the point. It's to not just open the heart, but to clear it out and strengthen it into a portal of power that you can keep it open and really move forward in your life. And we don't keep our hearts open unless we feel powerful enough and safe enough and secure enough to exact our own personal power in the world. I'm not going to keep my heart open if I believe the world's not a safe place. I'm not going to keep my heart open if dreams are just going to be a disappointment like they always have been. I'm not going to keep my heart open for any of those circumstances. And that's part of the opening that's been occurring. That theme is so accurate of seeing that it's about opening the heart, but keeping it open. But why is that important? Because in order to exact your power in the world, in order to create consciously your reality, your heart must be open, feel safe to be open, feel respected enough to stay open, that you can actually do it. So they're making me feel like the themes that you will see collectively, the threads that run through different groupthinks or different areas of consciousness will have a common theme through a multitude of different teachers, because that is the undercurrent or the energy that we're having an influx of coming in from that Sirius A, B, and C, which is actually shifting the physical density formed energy within our energetic fields so that we can be more open. I think it's common for people to fall asleep when there's an intense shift in energy. And honestly, Anna, when you're asleep, think about it. Think about the concept of subliminals, right? When I go to sleep and I listen to a powerful subliminal, when I wake up in the morning, I know if it was effective for me. I know if the wording of the subliminal was appropriate, because just because one subliminal worked for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. We have two different experiences. We have two different patternings. Sometimes that's why one thing works and another thing doesn't. So when I get up in the morning, I know when I have listened to a subliminal, because I'm asleep, your subconscious becomes malleable. Subliminals in your everyday life impact our mental bodies, our astral layers, our thought planes, and our physical energetic avatar. Everywhere we go, everything's energy. So to fall asleep during a meditation journey, I often view as, oh, we just removed the layer of the logic that needs to understand what's going on. And we just entered the mode of receiving to a point where all that influx of intense energy can now shape and mold and move stuff around without anything in the way. I often view people falling asleep in those meditations or those journeys like that as an indicator of a fast track to the Freedom Express. We're just going to let you go to sleep right now. We're going to zonk you out. We're going to shift a whole lot of shit. You're going to wake up. You might feel like you got a hangover, but that's just because you're integrating what you took in when you were asleep. Because had you been awake, some of those things probably wouldn't have gotten as deep as they could as when you were asleep. That's often how I perceive it. But on the same note, I would also say, if you intuitively feel like you're supposed to go back and re-listen to it, then do it. You're supposed to. That's what your intuition, your soul is guiding you to. But there are other times where I also know that it doesn't matter whether you go back or not. You got what you needed, and now you're actually processing it. And that's probably, Anna, why you have that hangover and feel like something shifted, but I'm not sure what has shifted, because you just got a massive energetic frequency realignment, opening of energy while you were sleeping. Some of that stuff I normally would say to people because it's common for people to fall asleep during meditations or activations, but it's also common for some people to be totally wide awake and have the wildest spiritual experiences. Both are valid, and the Sirian energy, they're showing up saying, and you will all experience both. They are simply different ways of reattuning the energy that works best for each individual. And each individual at times It will be to the best evolution of their soul if they are asleep when this is occurring. Whereas at other times, that same soul will experience points in time or references in time where they've had an experience where they were wide awake and had the profound experiences. That's because that experience is the highest evolution for their soul at that time. In this way, it is neither good nor bad to fall asleep. It is neither good nor bad to have a wildly expansive, visual, wide awake experience. It is both and. Both are utilized at different times during the ascension period. The job of each soul is to trust that they are aligning with what they need to when they need to. And that really is part of the portal of power. That is the activation to begin to attune to you are never alone. You are always being guided, and how you do things actually is part of your blueprint and your DNA, which will guide you through the ascension process. People who are teachers like myself, who are teaching modalities, doing guided meditations, we're not there to do it for you. We're there to hold a container or a vessel that allows the intense energy to come through and is delivered through them, through us, through me, to the different individuals. But each individual will experience it differently according to what their soul needs. And that really is the whole, in a nutshell, they're showing me that's the whole circle. That's every person playing their role in their personal power to understand why their experiences look different from another, yet you're still in the same experience. We were all in this portal. We were all going to experience it differently. Some will have a quick hangover, some will have a long hangover. I feel like that's really relevant. And in true Aaron fashion here, I find it difficult to come to any concept or idea or experience with only one perception of it. I've always been like that. That drove my kids nuts. Why do you have to tell me all the reasons why this person is like that and this other thing that I didn't see? Why can't I just feel like this and this is what it is and I don't care about anybody else? It's so funny. And as a parent, you have to validate how they feel because it's valid as well. In the next breath, I'm going to tell you, I'm always going to see all the other perspectives as a way to bring a sense of relief, peace, connectedness. So funny that I'm talking about that right now because that did recently just happen. And that happened during the portal actually with one of my kids. And for me, it was, yeah, I'm validating how you feel, but I also want to, and then, but usually says, makes what you said before it not relevant. And it's not a but as in, that's not the truth. It's a but as in, here's an additional truth that's going to help validate how you feel even more. You're okay to feel that way, and they're okay to feel that way. And this is why everybody else feels that way and why the interaction happened the way that it did. Apparently, we're redefining the word but to not mean everything before it meant nothing, but to mean everything before it meant everything. And it's real. And as some people would say, and this is also true. I feel like redefining the but for some reason. Interesting. Perhaps that's for somebody who's feels like when somebody says but, it takes away from what was said prior to. I never perceive it like that. I always perceive it as, yes, you feel that way, but there's not just you here.
I am feeling the familiar, just not push, but like this point when you talk about something and something that is maybe hard for you, and then someone said,
Yeah,
but yes, and that I think that that goes back to my own definition on what but means. That what I'm feeling is okay, but also this other thing can be okay and correct.
absolutely. And you know what's being illuminated for me right now through this Sirian energy that's just sitting here with us? It's just patiently waiting. They're saying discuss it, illuminate the process, illuminate the undercurrent, and we'll deliver you something else. That's what it feels like. They're just sitting here with us in the experience. We never want to take the power away by simply giving answers when the best and greatest process illumination will happen in your discovery through discussion about this term and where it has landed in all of your fields. And that is relevant to the conversation we've had talking about, this person falls asleep, but this person over here is wide awake. And usually the person that falls asleep wants the experience that's wide awake. But the person who's wide awake, sometimes is like, man, I wish I could fall asleep for some of these. There's all these dynamics where there's so many multiple truths that the but no longer becomes something that is defining your lack of experience or lack of worthiness or lack of relevancy, but we're redefining the but as something that doesn't take away from you, but rather allows you to see that you're going to have all the experiences and all the moments. So they're all technically part of you. In this way, whoever has deemed the word but as a silent or a subtle discrimination, I guess you could say, against your experience, that can be disintegrated now. It will no longer bear fruit of unworthiness. It has been redefined and coalesces with the word and. This is the beauty of being the creator of your own reality and this new identity. You have thus just both created a new reality surrounding the word, a simple word, an often used word, a misperceived word that often has negative connotations. But because you are creators of your own reality and you are willing to sit in your own identity, you have just, in a nutshell, in a span of 5 minutes, unpacked a term that defined you in certain ways with negative connotations, looked at the process, refined the term, and gave it new meaning, thus gives it new purpose. Thus, it holds a whole new energy anytime you will use it. And anytime someone uses it with you, you will not perceive it as a discrimination or a denial of your own experience because you redefined the word. Thus, you create the reality for you. Hence, this is a portal of power where you take what has defined you in your mind, in your body, or your energy, your emotions, and you redefine it. That is what a conscious co creator is. They are always redefining what has defined them so that it is in alignment with their greatest power. Hence, why Mars, the active energy, has been so volatile for some, what some would deem as the ring of fire. Mars is masculine, it's your fiery action. It is, to me, it's really moving in the deep, dark depths of you. It's like this magnetic red for me. It's the root foundation. It's the structure and it's the method. It's the essence of the masculine energy. Mars is. That's the role it plays. I take action based on what I believe in, what my core self has embodied. And if your core self previously embodied unworthiness, shame, guilt, always having people say buts to you, always wondering why your experience didn't really fit in with what everybody else said their experience was, and it was so great or wonderful, or it was different. This is Mars coming up within us saying, your experience is meant to be different and no buts can define you anymore. Ooh.
So I've literally felt the change within me while talking. When you started talking about redefining the but, I felt this tug inside me. This is for me. And I do believe I'm being held in the Sirian energy now. It was shown to me like a small branch, carefully poking in the depths of me into something, a
Mm.
tiny little wound. And I can feel myself being a little girl, just hearing the word but in the way that we have defined but before, both from my perspective, but also my parents. And then me trying to explain my thoughts and my perception, and they using but in a way that makes my side not relevant, my side not having any meaning, not so I should just stay quiet. And then everything just filling with love. And I can feel that wounded little girl inside me just relaxing.
Mm, that's beautiful. That was a total unfolding of a process in a span of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And something that's deep within all of us. All of us have experienced that. Oh, I know you're feeling like this, but, right? The Sirian energy is saying what is at play right now is literally stepping into a new identity. That does mean that you will be able to redefine the things that have defined you that take away from your power. Like the Lion's Gate, think about Leo energy. It is expressive, it is generous, it is loyal, it is proud. It just feels so good. I love Leo energy so, so much. It is the joy of life. It is the exuberance. It is inspiring. And yes, it's fiery. Leo is a fire sign. The Lion's Gate, they're showing me multiple doorways now. The Lion's Gate portal was intended to open a doorway within each of you that allows you to come into a greater power of the self. You will never feel powerful when other people's definitions begin to define you. You are always going to feel powerful in this. It's not even loud, right? I know Leo is loud and proud, but they're making me feel like they want to take it into great power that resides within one's soul, is the understanding that only you are able, capable, or should be defining you, which leads us and allows us to rise up in that power of the Leo energy, to be who we are, to expressively share and open our heart, to redefine everything that has disempowered us, utilizing it into something that is powerful so that we are proud of who we are, so that not one of those definitions becomes our disempowerment, but rather we begin to catalyze it, moving through the gate of the lion, where we are not defined by it. We are redefining everything that defined us. It's a portal of power. And notice it's the infinite. 8 numerically in numerology represents something significant and has a multitude of threads. I'm being shown the 8 portal and all these weavers threads, golden threads coming off of it. It means something slightly different depending on the attunement, whether it's numerology, whether it's energetically, whether you're following the cycle of the numbers, whether you're following whatever different modality you have. There are a multitude of golden threads that are pathways from this portal of 8. But what is it truly? The number 8 is the infinity sign for a reason. It is the infinite power of you to take a disempowering experience and glean great power from it, a greater power than you could have ever imagined. It is the infinite ability of us to shift identities, to shift our I am, to redefine something that has defined us. That takes an infinite skill and courage, and it takes a being of infinite energy, power, divinity to even recognize that we can do that. And the moment you recognize that we can do it, that you can do it, the world begins to change because you now feel powerful enough to open your heart, to dream your dreams, to dare to surrender to divinity, to dare to surrender everything that's divine, defined you, the shame, the guilt. Words have power and meaning, but we too get to redefine what meaning gave power to the words spoken over us. What meaning gave power to words that have been spoken over us? And we redefine those now. We open the doorways for each individual soul to walk through the gateway of their power, thus shifting from the identity that was defined by external factors or limitations. And we walk through the portal and shift into the identity and the power to redefine it all and consciously co-create your reality. To consciously create your reality, like to truly know that in your bones, you have to be able to be the definer of everything in your reality. And what I mean by that is we utilize the external, the people we engage with, our connections and our experiences, to be able to even define consciously a reality or an experience or a feeling or a thought, but to step into conscious co-creator mode. And I want to say creator mode, and that's what it is, but it's also co-creator mode because yes, I am a creator, but I actively, consciously choose to do it with divinity because my goodness, the universe knows everything that's going on. I would like to create my own world. And P.S., I'm going to connect into divinity in the universe because I know you've got some magic rolling around there that could absolutely help me get where I want to go in the reality I want to create. So there's also those defining factors of, yeah, I create my own reality, but I do it with divinity. So I am co-creating it with the universe itself. Miracles, that's when miracles get to occur at a rapid evolution. The Sirian energy is saying a conscious co-creator of their own reality to truly be that, not just think it, not just want it, not just dabble in it. I'm hearing that's interesting because I feel they're saying we'll get to that in a moment. Okay. We'll get to that in a moment. A conscious co-creator actively will take any experience, thought, desire, reality, projection, emotion, or pattern, and be able to look at it, to hold space for it, to see what it has been defining, and then redefine it or discard it completely. That is the power of the conscious co-creative reality. And that is the identity that all of you have stepped through this portal to. For some of you, this is a great and massive, profound change in your identity. There is going to be a portal hangover. There is going to, like, quote unquote, portal hangover. They're showing me, as I said, portal hangover, they showed me quotes. That's so funny. They're saying, now let's move to the idea of dabbling. I'm not sure why we're moving with dabbling right now, but I know for me, I will dabble in things. I don't dabble in things because it's not effective. I actually dabble in things because I know for me energetically, I can touch something and I don't need to go through a whole structured period through it. I can actually, by touching it, have a very deep, profound experience that changes me. That's just how my energy works. And in this way, I also feel like um, when we go and do something and we don't, oh, I know why. They're saying we're redefining the experience for those of you who do things and things never seem to work out, perceived or donning the lens of you not being fully committed, and that's why it didn't work out. Or you're just dabbling and that's why it didn't work out. Or you're just not worthy for it, or you don't have the strength for it, or you don't have the resilience, and that's why it didn't work out. The Sirian energy is wanting to illuminate that there is a specific subset of souls here where you are not meant to go full in, all committed to a specific pathway. You are there to dabble in multiple pathways because you are actually activating the remembrance and the definitions of those pathways and experiences from previous incarnations. You only need touch it to have a remembrance suddenly occur of different things. This is why some of you are not just one thing. This is why some of you dabble in different places. You go here and get that wisdom. You go there and get that wisdom. And no, you are not in for that complete path because you are not meant to. You are only reclaiming one bone. Your entire skeleton does not live in that pathway. For somebody on here, they're making me feel like this is a specific message to help you redefine a label you have been given, a projection from others based on how their energy works. Like some people, they need to be all in and follow that path to a T, and they're supposed to. That's the best evolution for their energy. but that is not who I'm speaking to. And wisdom does not follow our logical linear understanding. Wisdom does not only have one path, it has multiple pathways, moving in multiple ways. Some are linear, some are spiraled, some are circular, some start and stop. Some grow a lot and stop for a long amount of time and then grow again. Some have massive, long-standing growths of spurts of growing. They're illuminating this because we're coming to a time point where the Sirian energy wishes to realign and restructure. Because notice we talked about Mars previously and how Mars has been so active, which is our masculine energy. How much fire do you have to create your reality if you always feel like you can't because you perceive or have been defining you're going to places and it failing or having disappointments or simply dabbling in it? If you've taken in the definition of that of others, that means that you're a failure, or that means that you don't have the power to, or that means that you are doing it wrong. Well, the very thing you have believed, defining factor, stops you from being in your masculine energy. If you have been dabbling, you were meant to dabble. If you have been in a solid road, a solid committed path, you were meant to be on it. But you cannot compare roses and orchids. You cannot compare the sun and the moon. There is the sun, but there is the moon. They operate differently. They serve different purposes. They have different roles. So too is this true for every soul experiencing consciousness right now. This is part of the ascension, the redefining of what has defined you, so that you may be in your power and know that everywhere you have been, you were meant to be. And in this portal, whether before, at the peak, or the point of no return, and even the energy afterwards, you begin to see what you have been freed from. You begin to see what was truly defining you. And then you begin to operate with an open heart, a truer sense of power, and a truer rhythm of the heart, and a clearer sense of the divine mind. Welcome to the portal of power. You have all been activated. And if you are in the hangover phase or feel like it has been a bumpy ride, know that it was to ensure that you got to the other side. They're also wanting to point out, Anna, to you and to me, August 12th is not just significant for one of the layers or subsets of collective souls that will attune to that being the ending point of the rugged energy or the chaotic energy for them. They're saying that August 12th is actually the most profound meteor shower in, I want to say, the Western hemisphere, but I feel like it might be across all skies. It's Perseus or Persides, and you'll be able to see 100 meteors per hour. And for a multitude of hours, it lasts from the 12th to the 13th. It is an ending point. They're saying it marks, this has nothing to do with the astronomy or the astrology of what people would call meteor showers according to science. They're saying we wish to move spiritually and metaphorically for those of you who are connected to the Sirian energy. After all, this was a Sirian portal to shift you all into your divine identity of your infinite self, to redefine your impact in this world and the power you hold within you, and to increase the frequencies coming from those star systems that hold great wisdom to guide you, teach you, and help you build your dreams into a reality. The meteor showers that will occur can be viewed as a marking point, as the ending of a great test of each of your lives, where you have been through great struggle, where you have been illuminated into great truths, truths that hurt, truths that freed, truths that made you walk away. This is the ending for those of you, the celebration, the graduation of all the goodbyes you had to say, of all the things you had to leave behind, of all the deaths you've had to incur in order to transform into new life and into this new identity. The meteor shower, spiritually, metaphorically, speaks to a greater ability for all the light to come down into you and for you to see it, perceive it, and receive it into your vessels. Notice there was an influx of energy, and then the showers can rain down light frequencies into you because now you have the space for them. Now your mind has been cleared for them. Now your heart is open to them. Now your power can hold the frequency of your masculine energy. I feel like Sirian energy right now is on fire with us.
It's so beautiful to listen to. It's so empowering and supportive.
Yes. This is the message of Goddess Sirius as a binary star, as an entity and an energy. You all hold as a channel the ability to tune to the frequency and have the Sirian energy flow through each and every one of you. You can receive it through others, like you are in this podcast, or you can move it through yourself and experience it on your own. Interesting. I feel like we've been redefining a lot of concepts or ideas that are very common within this last 45 minutes, Anna. Interesting.
That was really good talk.
That was a really good talk. Thank you to all of the benevolent beings, energies, and frequencies and levels of consciousness that are here for us, that support us, elevate us in our evolution, no matter what your pathway of evolution is. All roads lead home, and the roads are different. And we're supported in that difference. So I'm really grateful for that. So let us know, beautiful viewers, if you had some post-portal hangover and if you're feeling a little bit better after listening to this episode with Anna and I.